Hello and welcome to the Business English Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. Actually, I'd like to start with a quick question for you. Have you ever felt stuck or nervous practicing English speaking all by yourself?
That's an excellent point. This topic matters because many people can't always find a speaking partner. You nailed it. How to practice English speaking alone is super important for anyone serious about improving business communication skills.
Exactly. We want to explore why this matters, share real-life examples, and show our best tips. So in today's podcast, we'll discuss this topic, highlight its benefits, and provide practical advice. By the end, you'll see how solo practice can boost confidence.
Absolutely. We'll break down our show into several parts. First, we'll introduce the topic and why it's vital. Then, we'll offer lessons on key words and phrases. We'll also give practical tips, plus a final summary to tie everything together.
Precisely. We believe that output is key to language progress. So let us know in the comments how you plan to apply these ideas. We want everyone to share thoughts and learn together. Feel free to like this video and subscribe too.
Couldn't agree more. And if you have any questions about how to practice English speaking alone, post them right below. Let's get started with today's main discussion and see how each part of this show can help you gain fluency.
All right, let's dive into today's main topic. In this segment, we'll examine different ways to practice English speaking on your own. We'll look at why it's crucial, what's happening in the world of language learning, and how successful learners approach solo practice.
Exactly. Many people want to improve business English but lack regular speaking opportunities. You nailed it when you said we should find creative ways to practice alone. There's no doubt about it, especially with busy schedules and global teams working across time zones.
Absolutely. Let me see. The world has shifted toward more virtual communication. Remote work means we don't always meet colleagues face to face, so practicing English alone isn't just a nice extra. It's totally essential for staying competitive in international business contexts.
Indeed, recent trends show that people who master self-study techniques often reach higher proficiency faster. You see, they control their schedule, target their weaknesses, and develop confidence at their own pace. It's precisely why this topic is so important right now.
Couldn't agree more. So in this section, let's outline a few key points. First, understanding why solo speaking practice works. Second, learning how to set clear goals. Third, using modern tools and examples of best practices. Finally, finding ways to measure progress.
That's right. First, many language experts say speaking out loud, even when alone, helps build muscle memory. You're spot on that it's not only about mental preparation, it's about training your mouth and ears to form and recognize natural English patterns.
Exactly. Next, goal setting is crucial. For instance, decide if you want to focus on pronunciation, fluency, or specific expressions. That clarity keeps you motivated because you see direct progress. Plus, short-term targets make practice sessions more manageable and rewarding.
Indeed. Third, modern technology makes solo practice more interesting. Actually, there are apps that simulate conversations using speech recognition. Some programs even give you real-time feedback on pronunciation. That's exactly how I see it. Technology bridges the gap when you don't have a partner.
No doubt about it. Another example is recording your voice on a smartphone. Then, you can listen back and identify improvements. It's a method used by many language learners worldwide, especially those balancing work, family, and personal development all at once.
Precisely. And fourth, measuring progress really matters. You could keep a journal of your weekly speaking tasks, record your voice daily, track mistakes, and celebrate small victories. That routine helps you see how much you've grown and keeps your motivation high.
Totally. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine practiced business presentations alone by talking to a mirror. She repeated her script, recorded herself, and compared each version. Eventually, she reduced filler words and gained the confidence to speak in international meetings.
That's exactly how I see it. There's also a best practice from some global companies. They encourage employees to record practice sessions on their phones and share them in team groups. People get feedback from colleagues, but they also improve self-assessment skills.
Indeed. One more angle is self-talk in daily routines. For example, describing your morning tasks in English as you do them, or summarizing what you read in a business article. It's a casual way to keep thinking in English, even when no one's around.
Absolutely. Another big trend is using online communities for accountability. People join social media groups or forums, then post regular voice clips of themselves practicing. That sense of community support can be huge, especially if you're learning without a local partner.
Couldn't agree more. So, to sum up this segment, practicing alone is feasible and productive. We covered muscle memory, goal setting, tech tools, recording methods, and self-talk strategies. All these approaches help you refine your English, even if you rarely meet a conversation partner.
Indeed, this topic is massive, but these basics should help everyone get started. Now let's move on to our next section. We'll explore key vocabulary and expressions related to our discussion so you can sound more natural and confident in your solo practice.
Alright, let's begin our first English lesson. We'll introduce 5 terms from our discussion. The first is muscle memory. In language learning, that means training your mouth and brain to produce sounds automatically. It's just like building habits through repeated practice.
Exactly. For example, you might practice pronouncing a tricky phrase multiple times until it feels natural. Then, in real conversations, your mouth automatically knows how to shape those words. That's muscle memory. It helps reduce hesitation and boosts fluency.
Absolutely. The second term is filler words. These are small words like or actually that people use while thinking. Too many fillers can weaken your message, but used wisely, they make your speech sound natural and less robotic.
Precisely, for instance, "Well, let me think," is a polite way to pause. However, if every sentence is packed with like or you know, it becomes distracting. So the key is balance. Practice recording yourself to identify if you're overusing fillers.
That's exactly how I see it. Next, we have accountability. This means having a system or person that helps you stay on track with your goals. When practicing alone, you might join an online group or set regular check-ins to remain accountable.
Indeed. For example, posting a weekly voice clip in a forum can give you external motivation. Or telling a friend about your learning plan. There's an extra push when someone else expects to see your progress. It keeps you consistent.
Couldn't agree more. Moving on, the fourth term is self-assessment. That involves evaluating your own skills, progress, and mistakes. In solo speaking practice, self-assessment often happens when you listen to recordings and note where you need more work.
Absolutely. It's vital for identifying problem areas. For instance, you might discover you struggle with certain consonant sounds or phrase intonation. By recognizing these issues, you can focus your practice. No doubt about it, self-assessment speeds up your improvement.
Precisely. Finally, goal setting is our fifth term. We mentioned it earlier, but let's clarify. Goal setting means defining clear objectives for what you want to achieve, like improving fluency by practicing 10 minutes daily, or mastering specific business phrases each week.
That's right. Having tangible targets helps you measure success and stay focused. For example, this week I'll learn 5 new expressions for phone calls. At 6 speed. It's a simple, clear goal. Once reached, you feel motivated and move on to the next challenge.
Indeed. So, that's our 5 key terms: muscle memory, filler words, accountability, self-assessment, and goal setting. Keep them in mind while you practice. Now let's move on to our next section, where we'll provide practical tips for making solo speaking practice more effective. Alright, let's jump into our practical tips segment. We'll show how to use today's topic in real life. So if you're wondering how to make solo practice stick, these strategies might help. We'll touch on daily habits, technology hacks, and mindset shifts.
Exactly. Let me see. The first tip is creating a routine. Decide on a specific time each day to speak in English, even if it's just 5 minutes. It could be during your morning commute or right before bedtime. Consistency will strengthen your speaking muscles.
Totally. The second tip is using technology to simulate conversation. Apps with AI-driven chatbots are booming now. Basically, you can talk to a virtual assistant and practice responding to prompts. It's not perfect, but it's a helpful tool for building confidence and fluency.
Precisely. Some modern language apps like voice-based platforms let you record audio, compare it with native samples, and get automated feedback. You see, it's not the same as a live person, but it works wonders for practicing pronunciation and intonation on your schedule.
Absolutely. The third tip is finding a speaking theme each week. For instance, dedicate 1 week to phone call expressions and another to polite business vocabulary. By focusing on a theme, you master a set of phrases that truly matter in professional settings.
No doubt about it. Also, the fourth tip is creating real-life simulations. Like, try to simulate a business meeting by yourself, introduce a topic, present arguments, and finish with a closing statement. Record it, then listen for any improvements or areas of confusion.
Exactly. The fifth tip is incorporating fun elements. If practicing alone feels monotonous, spice it up with role play. Pretend you're speaking at a conference or pitching a product, or use tongue twisters to challenge pronunciation. That variety keeps you engaged.
Absolutely. Another practical idea is to record daily diaries in English. Basically, talk about your day, your achievements, or challenges at work. Then, compare older recordings. You'll see your growth over time, which is super motivating, especially on busy or stressful days.
Couldn't agree more. Now let's consider current trends. Many language learners post short videos on social media. They practice business pitches or Q&A sessions. People comment with encouragement or suggestions. It's a unique way to combine solo practice with community support.
Indeed, some professionals even join online networking events where everyone shares a short self-introduction or idea pitch. If you can't find one, you can organize a small virtual meetup. It's a low-pressure setting to practice speaking in a business context.
Precisely. Also, reading business news out loud can sharpen pronunciation and vocabulary. Pick an article, speak each paragraph slowly, and note unfamiliar terms. Then, try summarizing the content in your own words. This technique grows your confidence and builds relevant language skills.
That's exactly how I see it. Another tip is shadowing. Listen to short audio clips of business dialogues and repeat them immediately, matching the speaker's rhythm and intonation. It's a top method for perfecting accent and improving listening comprehension at the same time.
You nailed it. Also, consider using a mirror sometimes. Watch your facial expressions and mouth movements while speaking. This trick helps you adjust your articulation. It might feel odd at first, but over time, it can really boost your clarity and self-awareness.
Absolutely. Now let's not forget mindset. Even if you're practicing alone, treat each session like a professional opportunity. Speak confidently, project your voice, and imagine a real audience. That attitude helps you develop the poise needed in business conferences or client meetings.
Indeed. So these tips cover daily routines, technology, themed practice, simulations, fun methods, social sharing, reading aloud, and mindset. The goal is to make solo practice part of your life. Next, we'll do another English lesson to review useful words from this discussion. Alright, welcome to English Lesson 2. We'll cover 5 more words or phrases that appeared in our practical tips. First up is simulate. To simulate something means to copy or recreate a real situation. In solo practice, you simulate meetings, calls, or presentations.
Precisely. For example, if you simulate a client call, you imagine a client's questions, your responses, and even potential challenges. By doing this, you mentally prepare for real conversations. It's like rehearsing a play, so you feel more confident when it's showtime.
Exactly. Our second term is pitch. A pitch is a short presentation that tries to persuade someone, often in a business context. For instance, you might pitch a new idea to your boss or pitch your product to a potential client.
No doubt about it. Practicing your pitch alone can help you refine your key points and delivery. Try timing yourself, record multiple versions, then pick the best approach. That way, you'll sound clear and persuasive during actual meetings or investor presentations.
Absolutely. The third word is shadowing. When you shadow, you listen to audio and repeat immediately, mirroring the speaker's tone and rhythm. It's like following a shadow. This helps you internalize proper pronunciation and natural pacing, which is crucial for business English.
Indeed, for example, take a business news clip, play it line by line, and speak exactly as the reporter does. That immediate repetition is called shadowing. Over time, it improves your accent and trains your ear to catch details like stress and intonation.
Precisely. The fourth expression is tongue twister. A tongue twister is a phrase that's difficult to pronounce quickly. For instance, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Using tongue twisters boosts your articulation and helps you deal with challenging sounds.
Exactly. When you practice tongue twisters, you train your mouth to move more precisely. This reduces slurring and improves clarity. It's not just a fun party trick. In business English, being articulate and clear can make your messages more convincing and professional.
Totally. Our final term is articulation. Articulation refers to how clearly and precisely you pronounce words. Good articulation makes it easier for listeners to understand you, especially in formal meetings or conference calls where clarity is key.
Couldn't agree more. If you speak in a rush or mumble, people might miss important details. By focusing on articulation, you enhance your professional image and avoid misunderstandings. So remember to practice these 5 terms: simulate, pitch, shadowing, tongue twister, and articulation.
That's exactly how I see it. Now let's move to our closing section. We'll summarize the main topic and tips. Hopefully this podcast encourages you to practice speaking alone with confidence. Let's finish with a brief wrap-up of everything we've discussed. All right, we're now at the end of our Business English podcast. Today, we focused on how to practice English speaking alone. We explored reasons this topic is so crucial, from building muscle memory to leveraging technology for feedback.
Exactly. We also shared practical tips like creating routines, simulating real-life tasks, using apps, and practicing consistent goal setting. On top of that, we discussed how to keep things interesting with role play, tongue twisters, and social media engagement.
Precisely then, in our English lessons, we explained key terms like filler words, accountability, self-assessment, shadowing, and articulation. Understanding these concepts should help you speak more effectively, even when there's no one around to practice with.
That's right. The main takeaway is that solo practice doesn't mean practicing in isolation forever. It means building skills on your own and then showing up stronger in real-life conversations. Couldn't agree more. Your progress is in your hands.
Absolutely. We hope these tips will help you feel more confident speaking English, whether you're preparing for a big presentation or just chatting in small groups. Remember, every bit of practice counts, and small daily efforts lead to big improvements over time.
Indeed. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more business English tips. Let's keep learning together and make the most of solo speaking practice.
Totally. We appreciate your support and can't wait to hear your success stories. Until next time, keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, you're spot on whenever you invest in your English skills.